Hi guys! So this week we're talking about books and books we like and all that jazz. I'm going to tell you about some of my favourite books that I've read and other books that I think you should know about. The thing you should know about me is that when I was younger I wasn't really that into reading. I loved books, but I preferred being read to than to read, because I was an incredibly lazy child and that went into teenage years. I didn't actually get into properly loving reading until this year when I read The Fault in Our Stars. The books that I really did love, I would say they were quite strange books, but just judge for yourself. So one of the first books that I always loved to read when I was a child is Trolls and Their Relatives. And I loved this book so much, even though it is creepy as fuck. It is all about all sorts of different trolls in the night. And actually, I was just looking at this. Actually, I've just seen this. Fucking look at this. Tits. I don't even know if this is actually a book for kids. Something's making me think that it's actually a adult children's book for some reason. But this was a really good book, and it was kind of like the introduction to people who love horror movies, but I really, really don't. But I just found this so wonderfully strange that I just loved it. I didn't know why. And the other book that I always liked, that I would always have my parents read me, was Herbert's 5 Stories. And this is about a boy named Herbert who basically... There's 5 stories, and in each morning he turns into a different animal, and they're all on here. So he turns into a kangaroo, and a snake, and a chicken, and an elephant, and he turns into that, and you spend the entire story trying to find out what it is, and I think it's a capybara. And it's a really awesome story. It's a really awesome book, and it's probably one of my favourites because of that. I started to read a bit more when I was in my teenage years, and when I was 15, my brother bought me a certain comic book, and I read it in about 3 days, and it's the Watchmen series. He bought me this because I said I wanted to see the movie, but it was too old for me. So he bought me this, and it's a brilliant comic series. I mean, it's so well written and it's so original, and Dr. Manhattan, poor Dr. Manhattan, but he's awesome, and just the whole plot of it is amazing. One note, there is quite a graphic scene in it, because it's a graphic novel. No, there is a graphic scene. There's actually a rape scene, which actually really disturbed me the first time I read it, and you know, again, I wanted to see something that was in a movie, but I was too much of a wuss to see it, so I have the book version of Jennifer's Body, and if you don't remember it, it was that movie with Megan Fox in it. Yeah, you remember that one. It's about a girl named Jennifer who gets possessed by a demon that eats boys. And in this book it's narrated by a friend in it who was played by Amanda Seyfried, I think her name is. But it's a really good book, and hearing it from her friend's side makes it really interesting, because it kind of gives a certain feel of what's happening. Because in the movie you see boys being ripped apart, but in this you find out about it later, and it's a really well written book, so I really like that. Now, what got me back into reading properly and loving reading was John Green's books. And I only really have one way of describing my experience of reading John Green's books. I've read The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, and Looking for Alaska. And this is how I feel about them. Why, John? Why? Why do you break my heart so much? Why? So I would say The Fault in Our Stars is my favourite book of all time, because it's just so amazing and heartfelt, and I almost started crying when I was reading it. I was reading it at college, and I was reading it, and then I closed the book and I said, I'm not going to read anymore until I get home. Started chatting to my friends and went, screw it, I'll read it. Open the book and I get onto the chapter with a very, very distinct first sentence, and my eyes got very watery. With Looking for Alaska, I literally felt my heart rip in two at the twist in the middle, and for the love of God, John, just stop doing this to me. It's so good though. It's precious. Oh, my heart can only take so much breaking. And this, I would say, is the funniest book I've read so far, because it is brilliantly written, and when I was coming to the end of it, I was just sitting there reading it going, I can almost feel the traumatic emotions that are going to hit me like a train. But I didn't have as many traumatic emotions as I did with The Fault in Our Stars and Looking for Alaska, which made me very happy, and this is a brilliant book. I love this book, and it was so funny, and I just found myself laughing my arse off most of the time. So those are all my favourite books, but I do have other books that I need to read. For the last, God knows how long, couple of months, I've had 5 books on one of my desks that I've bought and I haven't read yet, and I'm going to show you them right now. Sweet Scarlet by Maureen Johnson, 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson, Super Sad True Love Story by Gary, I can't pronounce his last name, The Quotable Walt Disney, and How to Be Like Walt. I'll see you guys next week. I just want to take a minute to say I'm really sorry that I didn't post a video last week, especially the fact that my day was Halloween. Major letdown. I'm really sorry about that. I did film a video with my boyfriend, and it was a really good story that he came up with, and when I was trying to import it the next day, I had filmed in a quality that my Mac can't handle. So safe to say I was pretty damn pissed. Sorry. See you guys next week. DFTBA.